Hi, everybody, and welcome to the channel. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about this, the new trend. It's been around a little bit, for a while. It's micro living, and everybody's living in these micro apartments, especially in Austin. And the last time that I was there, I saw a lot. I'm calling it hive living. It really is, it's hive living. And I saw a lot of these apartment complexes just everywhere. And they were so small. And it's shocking, really, to your senses to see this type of lifestyle. And when I lived there, this trend had not taken off yet. I moved out right before Austin just totally exploded. And I can remember driving away and looking at Austin in my rearview mirror, and I watched it get smaller and smaller and smaller. I was driving a U-Haul with my dog, and I was relieved. I was so glad to get out of there. The traffic had gotten so bad. It was aggressive. I could tell there were a lot of people there from out of state, and it just wasn't for me anymore. In fact, the last apartment that I lived in there, it was so small. It was. I was living in a hive, you guys. It was tiny, but it was my home, and it was bigger. It was way bigger than what's being constructed now. And so I started off, and I just thought, I'm going to look up micro apartments, and I found the India apartments. And I had to take a peek. These are over on East 6th Street in Austin, Texas. Now, when I lived there, you wouldn't have wanted to be really on that side, but times have changed, and, I guess I call that gentrification or just an overall takeover completely. It's really, I don't know if it's even gentrification. This to me is just wiping out of areas and in total and constructing these hive apartments, micro apartments. I'm calling them hive apartments because they look like hives to me, or barracks even. So the India apartments are over here on East 5th Street in that general vicinity. They're India apartments. There used to be a great restaurant over here that was a vegetarian Mexican food place. And that's when I first had started eating vegetarian, even though I'm not a vegetarian any longer, but it was really a good place. I can't remember what it was called. Of course, I can't remember. But anyway, so I thought, well, let's take a look at these apartments and just see what they have. Look at this. This apartment, this is, I take it, a studio apartment or efficiency. And the first thing, you've got a Murphy bed, and you've got to count on that Murphy bed being comfortable, of course. You've got no control, I take it, of your mattress. So you're really at the mercy of the Murphy bed. I don't see really any place of storage. Maybe behind there's a bathroom, probably, maybe a closet. But here's your storage. Here's your storage. And the one thing that really grabbed me, besides the lack of space, was this door. And this door really gives me the creeps, because it looks like a door that is stating the fact that this is a dangerous place. It's like New York. And we're providing this for your security. And it's almost kind of like you're living in a jail cell. All it needs really to me is just a tiny window. Thank God it's got a peephole. But that's it. Look at the handle. I've never lived in a place that had a handle like that. I always had a doorknob. And then I would put this device up against it to hold that doorknob so no one can get in. It was a brace. And that thing you couldn't get in if you had one of those. They're hard to find. But then look here, you've got like some kind of keypad. And I presume that's a heavy door. But you guys, look. Look at this. That TV is mounted. And you know, in prison cells, you know how you see that? Like in some of the prison cells where they can have a television? And these kind of look like bars. And look at your view. Or you don't have one. You're looking straight into another like unit. Into another prison unit. It's just, you're looking into another hive. And I guess if you don't have any of your own furniture, I still am wondering, look at the refrigerator right under the TV. And then, you know, you would have to have some money to afford a velvet couch. So basically you're looking at moving into a place that you're just not going to have any room for your things, for your furnishings. And it just looks very inhospitable to me. Here's a 1-bedroom. Once again, very, very minimalist, absent of pictures. Of course, this is a show model, you know, a model apartment, I'm sure. Plastic plant, I imagine. Got a door, a set of doors to the outside, but that patio is probably 2 feet out, maybe. Laminate floors. That just looks like a hive. That just looks like a hive. I have a wasp nest out back, a yellow jacket nest out back. And I mean, it kind of reminds me of that. You can't really store anything, but you know what they have that for, I bet? Wine, alcohol. So you can kind of have your wine put in there, because I don't know what else you would store. What can you store in something shaped like that? And that geometric shape. The Vent-A-Hood, I guess that's part of a Vent-A-Hood. It looks like it looks like a hotel to me. That's very stark, but that looks like another 1-bedroom. And look at the TV takes up the largest part, pretty much. But this doesn't look inviting to me at all. But I'm sure there's only a few rentals available whenever I check. I've been fascinated with apartments my whole life. I dream about them. I dream that I'm constantly looking for an apartment. That's been going on for a really long time. And I don't know if it's because I moved a lot, or sometimes I think in my dreams I'm looking for my mansion in heaven. I feel like I'm going real estate shopping in heaven, because I don't know. It's just a strange experience. I don't ever go into micro apartments. Thank God I don't think they have any of those in heaven, but maybe they do. You know, maybe God knows you want a micro apartment. Who knows? So here's the commons area. It's really hot in Texas. I doubt people are going to be hanging around a fire. And but there's only 4 chairs. I mean, that's a really small commons area, like barbecue area. I mean, I don't see a barbecue pit, by the way. I don't know. Maybe in Austin, people don't barbecue. No, they do. There's some good places for barbecue, but this looks like a fancier model, but you know, sometimes things photograph a lot better than they really are. Once again, your view is these plants here, and then you're looking into a courtyard and you can't even see the sun, you can't see the sky. It's really confining really confining. I mean, you wouldn't have, the last time I saw a view like this was in a hospital. And what I noticed was that nobody ever cleaned the outside windows in that hospital. It was filthy. And I asked the administration, I said, why don't y'all clean the outside of those windows? You know, I said, patients are looking out and all they can see is filth and grime. It's depressing. And the lady goes, well, we're just too busy to, she goes, we're just too busy to think about cleaning windows. We're saving lives. I thought, God, what an attitude, you guys. A view is a very important thing. Clean windows. You got to have clean windows. Get your mail there. Gosh. What an eyesore. Look at that. Here's another comments area. Well, if you can get out of your unit and get some exercise, you're really limited. I would not, there's nothing here that I would work out on. And look at how small this room is. I would imagine if someone is punching that bag, there's not going to be any room to do anything else. And so we're back in the lobby. Check out these prices. Look at the outside of this place. Now, when I scroll down, it's going to look more inviting. However, if I did it like that, say I did it like that, this looks like something in a country with no freedom to me. If you didn't have just this little bit right here, I mean, this is very stark. This to me looks like something overseas in Eastern Europe or something. It just doesn't look like America. That doesn't look like America to me. It looks like, you know, it's just very stark and without comfort and without room, and it's cold, and I feel like it could be a place to imprison people. And I know the agenda. Believe me when I tell you I do. I don't feel like getting into it. I'm tired of it in a way. But then look. Voila! Check this out. This was built in 2018. And look at how some of this looks drawn in to me. This is drawn in. This doesn't look like Austin, you guys. These people here having a great time. Everyone is just so people friendly. This is definitely not a photograph here. Everyone's in black. They're all fixing to go to 6th Street probably. 6th Street is a danger zone. When I lived there, it was a lot of fun. You know, we would go there when I was in college, and it was not a bad place. It just wasn't. It was fun. You know, I had fun on 6th Street. I didn't go there that often, but you know, groups of us would go every now and then, but that was many moons ago. Well, it was fun, but now, you know, you take your life in your own hands. So this, check it out. An efficiency starts at $994, but I guarantee you that's gone up. So for about up to 428 square feet, you're looking at $1,425 a month, and I would imagine it's more than that now because the demand is so high. A 1-bedroom with 466 square feet, starting at $1,574, and then you've got 2 bedrooms starting at $1,665. 1 month free with 12-month only vacancy. $200 to $300 deposit, and I understand on some of these places you have to pay an application fee, but I'm not sure about the Indie Apartments. And they're calling it Austin's premier boutique apartment community offers efficient living. Here's efficient. in one of the area's most happening neighborhoods. Welcome to East 6th Street. You wouldn't have said that 20 years ago. And a lifestyle that marches to its own unique beat. That's an alarm bell going off for me. It means riding your bike, taking the light rail, and listening to live music while eating only the best food. This kind of authentic can only be found within a few blocks of your home. Our brand new community has an intelligent design and efficient living. Make the most of every square foot in our modernly furnished, intelligently, there's that word again, design studio, etc. We have taken care of everything from your own plush Murphy bed to top-notch finishes. I don't know. I don't want anyone taking care of my bed. Unit amenities, self-cleaning ovens, high ceilings, garbage disposals, cable-ready, custom built-ins, walk-in closets, non-carpeted floors, ice makers. So, I was curious really kind of about the psychology of living in a small place. And I have found, let me see if this is the one from Discover. It was more about the sociology of it. It says here that Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung viewed the home as a reflection of one's psyche. If that's true, then people who opt for trendy micro apartments, which can come as small as 220 square feet, these kind of people reject, clearly, both mental and physical clutter. Unlike the crowded living spaces that low-income families have increasingly occupied out of necessity, micro apartments carry relatively high price tags for special features like co-working spaces, sleek storage, and even beds that disappear into the ceiling. It's ultimately an ideal choice for white-collar employees in pricey cities rather than a truly equitable housing option. But the part that really grabbed me is the health impact of tiny living. It said that residents' needs will, of course, differ based on their social arrangements. For example, micro-living families may require some sort of physical divider for their children's privacy because the units commonly have a single-room layout. Research has shown that depression, loneliness, elevated blood pressure, and lower academic performance can be found among children who live in crowded homes. These impacts arise from a lack of personal space and the inability to escape distractions, Rowling says, which causes children to feel helpless and withdraw from others. Habits that can follow them outside of the home and into adulthood. Parents, meanwhile, can feel stressed, lose sleep, and act less responsively to their children. That's just really, really a bad situation. That has such a negative impact on children. And while low-income families more commonly live in confined conditions, particularly immigrants, some studies have isolated these outcomes from socioeconomic status, but wealthier families may be more equipped to take on the academic challenges. And I don't want to talk about this other part because I don't care about all of that stuff right now. Concerning that, you know what? It says also that close quarters can also test young couples and solitary dwellers who are more likely candidates for micro apartments. While the findings are mixed, cabin fever can elicit psychological distress, substance abuse, and depression in adults. Such stress risks incidents of aggression and domestic violence. So, you know, that part, do we have a whole new generation of people that are going to act out because they've been living like this? That's a question, because these are just becoming commonplace. I'm not against tiny home living, I'm really not, but I guess if you're on a piece of land and you have a view and you have some room to get out and walk around and you have a view and you're not looking directly into another person's world, I think I would go crazy living in one of these places. Plus, I couldn't afford it. So, but I just find it really fascinating. There are more apartments. I wanted to try and find, okay. I just wanted to show you guys this picture. Now, when I lived there, nothing like this was in the skyline or in the horizon. Nothing. And these apartments are spreading out way outside of central Austin. Look at that. I mean, they're way out, like on Manchac Road, Jollyville, Anderson Mill Road, Bee Caves. That's way outside of Austin. And that's just a lot, you guys. That's a lot of those apartments. This is just all glass and all hive. It's just more expensive hive living. Look how modern it looks, like something out of the Jetsons. There's a swimming pool, but it doesn't really look like anyone's use. I don't know. It's not very inviting. And all the kitchens have pretty much the same design. There's really no room for any creativity whatsoever. I mean, you've got to know that everyone has the same floor plan and the same, pretty much everything the same. You're way up there. This doesn't even look like Austin. This just doesn't look like Austin. I'm telling you that aliens have landed and taken over Austin, you guys. Ugh. Look at that view. You wake up every day to that view. I don't know. I really can't put a word to... Yes, it's very modern. It's very modern. To me, it's absent of warmth and of nature. I mean, there is some nature out here. Here's some more. A lot of them now have like a barista available. That's like a big draw. You can play games, work out, and then go back to your job, right? That large TV room, conference room, computer stations. You guys, Austin, that place was so great. I remember when there was one Whole Foods, you guys. That's how old I am. And I would go to that Whole Foods on Lamar, and it was a tiny little Whole Foods, you guys. And I never had trouble finding a parking space. And it was the coolest old-timey store. It was a natural food store, but it wasn't anything. Look at this. Y'all, this is Austin. If you're watching this on a tiny smartphone, it's probably hard to see, but I don't know. I'm stunned. I've been there multiple times. We had a pet that had cancer, and we took him up there for treatments, and I met one of the girls that helped us out. She has become one of my closest friends, and she still lives there. But when I saw this landscape and this skyscape, I really was in shock. And I kind of vowed that I would never go back. Because I just don't, maybe you get to a point in time where you really feel like life has passed you by and the world is just changed in a way that I don't want to be a part of. I'm just not a part of it anymore. But anyway, okay, so 78702 is the area code for those first apartments, the Indy apartments, right? Look at this violent crime map. Assaults per capita in 78702. This is very alarming, and it's shaking me out of, the wistfulness of what Austin used to be like. But look at that. Those apartments are somewhere over here. That's west. East. They're around here. Around in here. So check this out. They get a D. You're going to be paying minimum, I imagine $1,500 a month. Minimum. I doubt you could get one for $900 anymore. I can always call them while I'm making a video and ask them. I may do that on the next video. Look at this. Look at this overall crime grade, y'all. It's a D. Violent crime grade, F. Property crime grade, D. Other crime grade, D+, and assault crime grade, F. Yep. Look at that. That's the assault map, F. And look at all the crimes that, look at this. Vehicle, burglary, theft, arson, vandalism, identity, drug, murder, robbery, assault, kidnapping, animal cruelty. That just upsets me. And look at the compared to surrounding zip codes, the rate of assault in that zip code is higher. It's higher. And all these have D's and F's. Crime maps and rates for zip with similar populations. Look at this. Comparable to New York, D. Violent crime, F. Property crime grade, D. Assault crime, F, you guys, F. It's comparable with California, Ohio, Indiana, Florida, another one. So, I know it says in the Bible that in our Father's house are many mansions, and for that I'm very grateful, because I just want to remind everybody that for those of us who are saved, and just flat out, for those of us who are saved, fortunately, our Father has many mansions for us. It's John 14:2. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you, for I go to prepare a place for you. And if you are living in one of these and you're feeling really stressed out and bad, please know, just please know that this is not all there is. Here are some other verses about the Bible, what it says about housing. It says, let's see, there's so many different ones. My people will abide in a peaceful habitation, in secure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. And that's Isaiah 32:18. I know this isn't King James, but it's the gist of it. I can overlook it. It says in Isaiah 65:21, they shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and eat their fruit. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For like the days of a tree shall the days of my people be. and my chosen shall long enjoy the work of their hands. Enlarge the place of your tent, and let the curtains of your habitations be stretched out. This is Isaiah 54, 2-3, verse 2-3. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes, for you will spread abroad to the right and to the left, and your offspring will possess the nations and the people, and will people the desolate cities. You know, I feel kind of like those apartments are just not good for people. Not for long. So, back to these micro apartments. Does this place look like it has an F crime rate? Because it does. And they're not the only ones.